After installing reverse planning, you should start out by trying to run the very much simple planning for simple MRP to find very critical items on inventory below 0 as an MPS and then as an MRP. I'll show you how that works, and you could do that directly in your system with the default setup that we supply. So if you go into the simple MRP planning worksheet in here, you can calculate simple MRP, and the first thing I would suggest you to do is to find the critical items. Before we do that, I'll just show you that in my reverse planning worksheet we don't have any lines, so nothing is created because we haven't done anything yet. So we calculate simple MRP, we select the template that we have chosen to call find critical items, which should be in your system, and the point here is that we don't calculate, we don't auto run anything. So if you look at the field auto run, suggest quantity and carry out to the journal, those are not check marked. You can also see this if you navigate further into the template card for finding critical items. The paradigm here is to include all the normal demands and supply, sales orders, purchase orders, assembly orders, production, etc. And you can see here we trigger on inventory level 0, meaning if it gets below 0, we like to look at the item, but only if it's below 0 on the end inventory. So if it's get below 0 within the period, it's not important. It's just a matter of dates we need to look upon. So, but if it gets below 0, we like to look at it. We don't want to automatically suggest to run quantity to order and carry out in the other journal. This means we won't move the potential line into the reverse planning worksheet. Let me just run this while I'm talking. And we need to do this on our main location, or you should do it on your main location just to try it out. So this means the line will stay here in the reverse planning worksheet. We didn't carry anything out into the they stay in the simple planning worksheet, and we don't carry out anything into the reverse planning worksheet. So therefore it didn't create depending demand. So to build those two items, we might want to need other items, which will be the MRP planning. So this is actually an MPS planning, a master production schedule for the direct demands we have here. You should try this just to find your most critical items. Now, if you do the same, simple MRP, calculate simple MRP, but in this scenario, you take the critical items in all levels. We are looking at the same planning parameters. We want to include the same supplies and demands, and we still want to do it in the same location. The only differences will be, and again, 0 and end inventory. So the only differences in this template is we want to automatically suggest quantity to order based on the template we have set up in here. You can change that. And we want to carry out actions, meaning we want to transfer, not creating order, but transfer the items into the reverse planning worksheet, and thereby also create depending demand, all the components we need if it's a production item. And then we want to run it per LLC code. So we want to carry out for LLC code 0 first, then 1, then 2, etc. So thereby this will be like a normal MRP job. So I'll do exactly the same, just selecting another template here. I want to filter on my location production like this. And now I would expect there to be no lines when I'm done, because all the line it creates will be transferred to the reverse planning worksheet. So this is of course empty, but if I open my reverse planning worksheet, the lines will be in here, and instead of 2 lines, it would now have created the top 2 lines that we could recognize. This was the first one, and then all the other items down through the hierarchy that says this is now critical because the first 2 line has created the depending demand. So here you could navigate. Let me check here if you could see the components here for the first lines. That will be all the components for creating 10 of those bikes, and they will be part of the next calculation. So it's basically like a standard planning worksheet, a standard MRP, except for one thing. It only creates suggestions for new orders. It doesn't cancel, it doesn't reschedule, and it only creates 1 line per item. So that's the whole idea of this app.